Hi everybody, welcome to our series From Boring to Brilliant, what we call simple moves to promote thoughtful learning everywhere. This particular session is called High Level Learning Everywhere. I'm your host, Tom Dewing. I've been with Silver Strong and Associates for many, many years and have found these tools and strategies that we promote to be highly effective in increasing the learning and thus increasing the achievement in the classroom. What we're going to use in these sessions are what we call tools and strategies from our library of different resources collected over the years. And we have found these to be easy to implement, but again, highly effective. In this particular session, High Levels Learning Everywhere, we're going to be highlighting a tool, a strategy from Core 6, a tool from the Thoughtful Assessment, and also tools for promoting active and in-depth learning. We start each of our sessions with a scenario of a classroom. These are not fictional. These are scenarios, situations that we've seen in our many years working with school districts across the country. And what we're going to do is take the scenario, analyze it a bit, then look at some tools and strategies and implement these tools and strategies in what we call the transition to a more brilliant classroom. Here's a scenario. Ms. C has some instructional goals for the art class which include understanding the differences between genres of paintings. As she introduces Impressionism and Neo-Impressionism to the group, she has them look over the note organizer that she has created. As she presents the various paintings for both genres, the students copy notes from her PowerPoint onto the organizers, filling in the blanks. These notes will be used to study for the test. Typical classroom, typical scene that you might see if you're an administrator or an evaluator as you walk around, or if you're a team member as you're in another teacher's classroom. But what do we need to look at? We need to look at how this teaching situation can grow so that the students have engagement in a more interactive session so that they're constructing ideas and they're owning the work. The question I pose to you is about DNA first, though. You know, DNA is a remarkable discovery. It's in every cell and fiber. It's unique to that body, as you've seen if you've been looking at any trials, that they can pick out a piece of DNA that was associated with the suspect and convict the suspect on it, or they can find out who or what was there and when. And it can also replicate, take pieces of it, and it can be the blueprint, if you will, of the whole body. But my question to you is, what's the DNA of your district? What is that district's nourishing activities? See, what is in every classroom, first grade, fifth grade, art, lunchroom, that resource person under the stairway, the aid to the student? What's the common instructional element? That's the DNA that's woven through every fiber of your school. You know, a district's DNA can be seen in a lot of different ways. The behavior in the classroom, the expectations. How we exit the classroom might be emphasized in every classroom or every situation in which a student or students are with teachers. And maybe your district has implemented a such and such program. When does that happen? Is it just happening during science class and math class? What about the creative think time? What about the creative arts time when students leave the classroom and go to another teacher? When does all of these programs, what you're emphasized, happen? See, we like to think of it as the tapestry of your school. Tapestries are beautiful pieces of artwork, but they're also very intricate. They're very much involved in a lot of details that are all woven together. But if we think of it, it's really a group of threads that are woven together that make the whole. So we're wondering, what's the tapestry of your school? We're going to take a look at how we can have high levels of learning everywhere by weaving throughout all the classrooms, all the learning situations, some common instructional approaches. And we're going to be looking at some tools and strategies for our transformation from our resource library. Let's take a look at each one individually briefly so that you have a sense of how powerful this can be in our transition to a different type of classroom. From our tools for promoting active and in-depth learning, we have a tool called fact storming. The students generate as many facts as possible after the teacher has organized them into groups. And we try to get as many of the correct possibilities from this as we're generating a bunch of facts. Next, we call it A and Q from our tools for thoughtful assessment. It's a tool that tests the student's knowledge of a given topic by first giving them an answer and then having them generate possible questions. This is a great tool that teachers use to get a sense of where the class is, where the students are, and their understanding or knowledge of the topic before we even begin. But it can also be used as a reflective piece to see where the students have gained information and knowledge and understanding. Backwards learning from our tools for thoughtful assessment. Powerful tool. One thing that we have as most mission statements is that students will become lifelong learners and capable citizens of the future. In other words, our task is to prepare them to be able to survive in their world. Well, certainly part of the survival is being able to accomplish tasks, jobs, goals that you have. So in this backwards learning tool, we teach the students how to analyze a task that they have and to create a plan of action in order to achieve it. They have to ask what they need to know and what they're going to be able to do. The goals and the doing goals. Knowing and doing in order to achieve the task. This is a sample from a fourth grade classroom in which the task was, and this teacher gave this at the beginning of the sessions, we're going to be writing about 3 kinds of poems. They're going to be using different types of poems. So the students generate what they're going to have to know and what they're going to have to be able to do. And then if you notice below there, they also created a plan of action. See how powerful this is? See how beneficial it is for the students to learn how to adopt this type of skill in their own world that they're going to be living in? This is another one from a higher level, a renewable and non-renewable energy, and to take a position on it. So they're going to need to know, and again, generated from the students, and also what they're going to have to be able to do. See, it helps them understand the goals more deeply right from the beginning. It gives purpose. And when there's a purpose behind the learning, there's more attentiveness, there's a higher level of engagement. But it also gets them to be able to analyze a task in setting goals for achievement. What a skill to have for a lifetime. Another strategy that we're going to take a look at in this transition is about comparing and contrasting. Finding similarities and differences is common. I believe it appears 60 or 65 times as a goal in the Common Core, but it's also a common cognitive action for deeper understanding. It's another thing that we do in life on a natural basis to try to understand. When we're learning something new, we compare it to something we already know, and we try to see how this fits into our understanding right from the beginning. What we've developed is a series of steps, phases, if you will, in the compare and contrast that achieves what has been found to be very beneficial for students. We start off with a description phase. We pick, we select, we develop criteria that is directed towards the ultimate goal of the lesson or the unit. In this stage, students simply describe from their text or their source of information based on the criteria. So now we take the 2 areas that we're looking at, and using a visual organizer that's set up for ease of use, we record the similarities and differences. Now, myself as a teacher typically stopped kind of at this phase as I was teaching, and we lost the essence of the understanding and the power of the learning. So we go on to a conclusion phase. What have you learned from your comparison? What information and ideas can you gain from looking at the differences and the similarities between these 2 topics that you're looking at? Lastly is the application phase. how can you take this information now and either use it directly in what you're doing, or how can you apply it to the new learning we're going to do in the next section? You see, this gives it power, this gives it purpose, this gives it reason. So here's the original scenario, and when we take a look at it, we see that she has some instructional goals. That's outstanding. But again, she's introducing, she has created, she presents. And what the students do, they copy. It's the teacher who's doing the work in the classroom. And our mantra is that we try to make the students as important as the standards. We try to bring the student back to the center of the classroom. See, they're copying and filling in. Not a lot of thinking involved. So let's take a look at the transition. You see, in this case, the students do the fact storming, and they're taking from what they know the types of paintings. Then if you notice here, the students are discussing the attributes. So they're taking what they know already, looking at the paintings, and pulling out the attributes. She described the final product, which is going to be an ad for a type of painting. In other words, they're going to take their understanding now of the different genres, the different attributes, but they're going to create, we're going to take them over into a different type of thinking, a creating mode, in which they're going to create an ad for a painting that tries to sell a particular genre. Teacher has them complete a backwards learning organizer so that they know what their ultimate goal is, but the steps they're going to get to it. But the students also are using a compare and contrast strategy to do the differences between the Impressionism and the Neo-Impressionism, using the description phase the students generated. At the end, at the conclusion phase, how we pull this together, the students are going to create that ad. You see, in art class, we're doing the same type of thinking. We're doing the same type of reasoning. We're having the same instructional thinking goals that are in all the other classes, so that learning continues no matter where the students are. We hope this session has been beneficial, and Kristen, I think you have some information for us also.
Yes, thank you, Tom. Absolutely. For more information about our Thoughtful Classroom tools and strategies that are featured in today's webinar, or some professional opportunities, development opportunities such as the ones shown on your screen, you can contact me directly at kperini@thoughtfulclassroom.com. You can also give a call here at 201-652-1155, and also check out our website at thoughtfulclassroom.com. So on behalf of everyone here at the Thoughtful Classroom, thank you for taking this time to view today's segment from our Boring to Brilliant series with Tom Dewing. Have a great day.